What's up, y'all? It's your girl Alexandria B with Wall Street Been Black, and I'm upset. I'm upset. Department of Education keeps emailing me, and I feel like Big Daddy B came and asked me specifically for forgiveness. He asked me, so I set aside $9,850 for him to give, but now I got to pay it back. Can I pay it back? Yes, absolutely. But is that the point? No. It always bothered me that in order to further myself in life and to further my education and to simply just even understand what is a business so that I can start my own business and help my family out, I had to go in debt. So the further I thought about that, getting upset, the more they emailed me, the more I realized my community simply just wants to understand what is the stock market. What is it even? I'm not gonna put that on paywall. Not with Wall Street Been Black. So as y'all been coming into the family reunion Discord, I've had the pleasure of really picking your brain to and see like what is it like what's the missing link, and to see that y'all aren't watching the futures before you trade. So if you've already watched part one, which is our pre-market routine that was already posted this morning, you're up to date. You understand the levels that I was looking at for NQ, and then when the market opened, I played it out on QQQ as well as with Upstart. So let's go ahead and watch this video. But before we do, one thing that I want to tell y'all, well, two things is I say per entirely too much. Y'all need to start calling me out on that. Y'all need to start calling me out on that. Okay. The second thing is that my yellow moving average is my 20 MA and my blue moving average is my 50 MA. Now, with the 20 and the 50, I love to look at those on all time frames. And when the price falls in between the 20 and 50, that's like my value zone where I'm either going to look to play calls or play puts. How I determine which direction I'm going to take, besides price action, of course, is I'm looking at the initial trend. So on QQQ, we understand that the initial trend is a drop. It's a downtrend. We're in a downtrend. So when it falls in between my 20 and my 50, it's a high probable chance that this is where I'd want to short the market. This is where I'd want to get puts. So I just want y'all to keep that in mind as we watch the rest of this video. All right, so the market opened and we already kind of talked about it. So where do we see in QQQ do right here? Pushing down. But now it's a matter of, is it going to lose this 50, which I'm fully expecting that it will, and then come down here to this 368. So I could trade this right now. I can say, all right, period. I'm going to take this scalp and I'm going to take it down to the 368.08 and then be out, be done, right? Because that was a for sure move right down there. I can take that, but me, because I see that the Qs already went down there, met the line in the sand and bounced, I'm gonna wait it out. All right, so me, I'm like, okay, period. It pushed down and it held that 50. And if I'm on the 100, on the 15-minute, it's holding my 20 MA as well. With the momentum coming in on NQ, with it, trying to break this 50 and the 100. Or the 100 and then the 50, right? But I'm watching. You gonna break that or not? Look at NQ ejecting. All right, so with this momentum coming in, with this push in here, I personally have no interest in getting into calls, as I already said. Have not a lick of interest in getting into calls. I do enjoy that this is holding that 5 minute. my 20 on the 5 and 15. Ooh, look at that stone. Look at the 370 on the 1 hour. So me, I like to see, so matter of fact, I'm gonna move this to the 5 and I'm gonna put QQQ over here on the 15 or on the 1 hour. Different layouts, but that's okay because I know what it is I'm looking at. I'm looking at this 50. Oh, period. I had a level over here at it where the 50 MA is per. Now this I like. Y'all trying to hold, you holding it. This I like. This I like. All right, so I am looking at the ooh, theta is freaking high. I am looking at the 370 call. I'm gonna go to the, oh, I am on the 5. I'm gonna put this on the 15-minute actually. Because I know you, okay, yeah, per. Five, 10. Ooh, look at that. But is NQ gonna break this 100? And then let me look at that on the 1 hour. Yep, where this 20 is. So I'm gonna keep NQ on the 1 hour. Just break this 20. And then I got the Qs on the 5 and the 15. Okay, per. Meet the line in the sand. Come on down. Come on down. This on the 15. We got 2 minutes left. Push down, trying to hold it. 5, 10, 15 in here. So interesting how on the 5 minute, like these 3 candles right here is what it looks like over here on the 15. And then if I was to pull QQQ up on the 1 hour, because me, I like to look at one at a time. So if I pull you up on the 1 hour, that's what you're looking like down here. Rejecting the 50 on the 1 hour, but seemingly holding it on the 5. Go ahead and break. Mm-hmm. 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 Now come to my line in the sand, and then that's when I'll know what I want to do. Now I could absolutely get inputs right now, and I'd be looking at the, if I was calling it out, I'd look at the 368 put. Mm-hmm. Come on down. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And if we were in the 368 puts, we'd be up 5%. So me looking at this, I'm understanding, like, right, that if this comes to just 100 and it bounces anywhere when I've already determined that this is my line in the sand, that I saw the NQ hold overnight, right? If I see this was to bounce anywhere, I'm out. I'm out. I've already plotted it. I've already plotted the move out. But I'm looking at QQQ on the 15-minute where this 100 is. Go ahead and lose it. Go ahead and lose that. And we see on the 1 hour, it's about to lose the 20 here at this 368. We'll just say 368. Go ahead and lose that. 9.7% if I was calling it out. Now, see how this kind of came in? You said it's like, oh my gosh, was that starting to bounce? Hey man, you gotta look at time. Gotta look at that time, right? We got so much time in it. It's only been open for 1.5 minutes. We got 3.5 minutes to go in this candle, right? And look at on the 15-minute, right? So I'm more so looking at my two higher time frames right here. You're gonna lose this 100 on the 15 because that's also gonna be losing the 20 on the hour. Not worried about this over here. I'm looking on these higher time frames because these higher time frames breaking these averages is later be know that I'm gonna be able to stay over here longer. But see how that bounce right there, right? But I'm looking here on this 15-minute, you trying to hold it or trying to lose it. I mean, so I'm not gonna get scared out over here. That's fine. Let me watch these. And the futures, of course, right? Like look at that major reject on the futures. 18%. I feel like on the 5-minute and the 15-minute, I look at the candles in groups of threes. So when I'm looking at this on the 15-minute and we got two in the same direction, I'm kind of thinking we might be able to get, especially if this breaks, would make sense if we had a third bearish candle here on the 15 that would bring me down here to the 50, right? But this is where the price action really comes into watching it for me, especially because I am playing in the morning. Okay. So now it would be like, first off, my stop loss would be, I always take minus 10% once I get in profit, right? I just subtract 10% and be like, that's my stop loss. That's how I do it. So if I got to 20%, I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna keep a 10% gain for a stop loss. That's kind of how I do it, right? But I'm also looking at, this is why I don't like setting manual stop losses, because if I'm day trading, I'm watching it. I'm looking at the futures lose the 50 on the 1 hour. On the 1 hour. I'm looking at QQQ lose the 100 on the 15. I'm looking at QQQ coming down to this 20 with this 20 MA curling down, meaning that it's moving. It's to me, when I look at this, I'm like, you moving out the way so that this can keep pushing down. It's like, let me move out your way. My bad. Right? That's kind of how I see it. So now on this bouncing here, and then I'm seeing that NQ is coming, it would be like, okay, might need to start taking profit, right? Because that's what we said, the line in the sand. It came down to the 100, and that was at its height 20%. At its height was 20%. I said that literally planned it out based off of what NQ did. Easy peasy. Patience. Track the futures. Wait for the stop, wait for NQ to make that move, right? Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. You came right down to the line in the sand and bounced. Now, looking at this on the 1 hour on NQ, right? So when I'm looking at NQ on the 1 hour, I see that it got 9 minutes left, which is what's left in this 15-minute candle, right? Which is going to give me about like two more candles over here on the 5-minute. So now this is where this is where you would start to decide about your runners, right? But this is the reason why I say like buying 0 DTE on SPY and QQQ is the worst thing that you could do, because if you had a 0 DTE, you'd be out. You'd be out the game. You'd be so red right now. It'd be ridiculous. But buying like a normal expiration time, right? And especially because today Tuesday or Wednesday? Tuesday. And for me, no, I was gonna say, especially because it's Wednesday, I went, but no, baby, no. So now we're looking at here, we see this pretty little bounce on the 15-minute, right? And doing all of this, but when I'm looking at NQ on the hour, and I'm really watching price action now, right? So a spinning top followed by an inverse hammer that's rejected the 50 and the 100. It's rejecting the 100. For me, I'd still have a runner going. I still have a runner going. Great question. And where would I have my stop? My stop would be looking at this 15-minute where the 20 MA is. And then something else that I want to point out is the volume. On this bullish candle here on the 5-minute, the volume is lower. But on the futures, on this higher time frame, I see the momentum is coming in to the upside. So it'd be like watching here the 20-minute or the 20 MA on the 15, right? And then watching in Q here. Are you going to hold this one, or are you going to break above this 100 or continue to reject it? And that's why I still have a runner going, because the futures was going to let me know. And volume also, right? It was no volume to the upside. Now, I'm not saying that this just gonna come crashing down to the gates of hell, right? I gotta watch price action. I'm watching the futures. I'm looking on this 15-minute over here. I know we got one more candle left on this 5-minute. That's gonna let me, that will really determine what I'm gonna do with my runner. Because we see this trying to hold this 100 on the 5, as well as here on the 15, but it's rejecting it on the hour on in Q, the 100, right? So I look at that on all time frames. I'm like, okay, on the 5-minute, you're trying to hold the 100. On the 15, kind of dip below it, trying to hold it. On the hour for in Q, though, but same thing, you rejecting it. Let me keep me a runner. So for me, would I still have a runner? Absolutely. Why would I not? Because the runner is at 15%, right? But I could absolutely walk away from that right there. Could absolutely walk away from that right there. But I'm looking at NQ because, baby, is you going to lose this 50? Are you going to lose the 50? You're about to close. This first hour candle is about to, well, it's the 30 minutes for us, right? But it runs an hour time frames on NQ or on the futures. So that candle just closed. This one opening. What you gonna do? So now I'm looking at NQ or QQQ on the 5-minute, and I see it's coming up on this 200, right? I'm gonna need to see NQ lose my 50. All right. And when I'm looking at NQ, I understand you probably gonna go ahead and return down to this 15,000 if you do lose the 50, right? Now I see barriers up here, right? For QQQ on this 50, and I see a barrier here on the 5-minute for the 200. But I also see that you losing. Look at that 20 moving out the way. It's like here. Oh, I'm sorry. There you go. Right. So even though I see that this is approaching the 200 MA, I'm straight. Now this is where I would start to scale out, or I'm really starting to scale out, right? So now my runner is at 28%. So let's say I had three going, and I'm at 28%. Well, I bought 5 initially. When it hit the line in the sand, I sold 3. I sold a majority. I'm gonna take my profit. I'm gonna take my money and go. Okay, but I'm gonna have 2 running because I see you got some weakness a little bit, but for 1, 2, 3 hours, 4 hours, it was able to hold this 50 in here, right? So not that confident because I seen what you doing, but I also see, on my other time frames, you moving out the way. So I'm not really going to be able to like stop holding my breath. So now my runners are at 41% until I see NQ firmly pass this 15, like right here, the support, right? So now, because I see that you inching your way down there, and I see that it bounced off my 200 MA on the 5 minute, I just sold one. I'm straight. I sold it at 40%. I sold one more at 40%, right? So I do still have one running because the momentum is to the downside. You trying to push down. You're trying to push down. But on these lower time frames, you held the 200, you held the 50, and you're trying to bounce off the 20 here. Now, this 15-minute candle just opened, and like I said, I kind of look at like the 5-minute and the 15-minute as if like they run in threes, groups of threes. Of course on the 5-minute, because I'm like looking at these three and saying, okay, this makes a 15-minute candle, these made a 15-minute candle, so I got this candle and a couple more that I'm looking at, right? But the fact that you bouncing off this 50, but there's still time. This candle just opened like 3 minutes ago. Now I'm looking, because I got one running, I'd be just watching this candle in here to see if it closed below my line in the sand level. I'd keep my runner. If it closed even a little bit above it, I'm just go ahead and take it, because that was at the height of my selling off. It had hit 45%. So I'm straight. 45% move, I'm good. For a day trade too, I'm straight. All right, we got like 40 seconds left. You gonna close under my line in the sand or what? Because that'll keep me in. If not, I'll take my at the height 40 something percent and I'm gonna be straight. I'll be straight. Was able to do that in the first 30 minutes of the market. I have no complaints and probably won't look at to get into anything else. I don't give a freak. I really don't. For a day trade, I really don't. Why would I look at anything else? Not when the Qs made so much sense to me, because I took the time to watch NQ, right? Now look at this. I'm still in. Why would I not be? I see you came down there to the 200, right? But why would I not be? You closed below my line in the sand. On the hour, QQQ just lost a 20. I see NQ starting to push down. We at 47% on my runner now, and you just lost a 200. I'm cold. I swear to God, I'm cold. I'm cold. God damn, I'm good at this. I'm good at this. It's a little bit of concentration, 78%. All it do is it take a little bit of concentration. It takes me 10 minutes. It took me 10 minutes. Once you chart something, you really don't have to. You don't have to rechart it. You just have to keep up with it. And I go through and I look at it every day and I'm like, okay, what did you do? Maybe I might need to adjust this. Maybe I need to move my trend line a little bit. Maybe I got to do this. But once you chart the 6, you stick with it. That's it. That's all. So now for me, I don't even care. Like, what do you do? Once this hit 366, I'm out, because QQQ hitting 366 is going to be NQ hitting at about like this 15, getting into this 15,000, right? I'm straight. It ain't no need for me to stick around, right? I'm good. And if we look at this on the 5-minute, look how this kind of went right up, right? This should come right on down and give me this. Might even like 365.92 is what I have over here. It's like 366. Yeah, I'm straight. Stick around for what? Runner, 88%. You lost the line in the sand. NQ lost the line in the sand. Coming up on my level, and I'll be out. Coming up on my level, and I'll be out.